If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Syya. And this week, we're going to talk about rituals that build resilience. Now, it could be anything. It could be, your 5-mile run every morning that builds up your cardio, or it could be your coffee. There you go. We all have rituals within our lives, either ones that we realize or things that we don't realize, that make our lives more palatable. I mean, I look at the most quintessential one with Sheldon knocking 3 times before he goes in the door. It's for him, there's some type of psychological, release valve when he knocks 3 times. And, it became a comedic thing, but we all have those little things. Some people tap on their table. Some people, people look, says, yeah, the wooden plates here, the steel plates here. We all have these little rituals in our lives that we have that give us comfort and give it, make us have a sense of purpose or are part of our own validity. So, see, let's gnaw on this.
I mean, my friend, some would argue these wonderful idiosyncrasies of habits that we've developed could be called compulsions.
Yes.
Which I think, it was interesting that you mentioned the Big Bang Theory with Sheldon. It wasn't a compulsion per se. Yes, he kind of they bounce in their little lore. They bounce back and forth. And it comes to find out is because, he allegedly walked in on his parents.
Walked in on his father, exactly.
But that would be the source. But when Penny did it 3 times, he said it's oddly. What do you say? It makes you. It feels oddly good, doesn't it, or something like that,
exactly.
Right? Or oddly satisfying.
Satisfying.
And I think there's something about consistency. I think, and consistency breeds comfort. When you have developed habits, they become non-intentional. They just become part of your thing. So I see where when you said running in the morning is that, thing that you do consistently that makes you feel better. Now, granted, that's all, serotonin
Endorphins.
and all that stuff too. Me on the other side is it raises a bunch of kvetching, as you know, because it hurts and it hurts. And it hurts. Yeah. But that being said, I do love the idea of having those habits developed in a way that, for my kind of like brain functioning, those types of consistent habits keeps me in check. Because if I didn't, like, let's say, for example, and it's so funny, I just finished off a conference I've been working on for months now that it's done, my checklist was already like built around that conference and my other clients. Now that conference has the immediacy of all the things that needed. It's new, different immediate stuff, but it's not the same kind of pressure. I find myself, though I have my my checklist, I feel a little lost because it wasn't the same stuff. It's different stuff now, right? And if I didn't have that checklist that I am not disciplined with, full disclosure, I'm trying like the Dickens every day. When I do it, I do feel better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think there's something to be said. People meditate the first thing in the morning. People write their journal first thing in the morning. Let me ask you, do you have a habit that you have that has worked for you? And do you have one that didn't work for you that you wish would work for you?
I wake up every single morning, read through my LinkedIn posts, look for things that I can comment on and comment on them. Every single morning. And then, before breakfast, I have probably written 4,000 to 5,000 words.
Whew, you're a writer.
I'm a writer. I'm a writer. And I might be a little high, but not by much. I'm one of these people that when I write, it's not ha ha ha, that was funny. It's paragraphs. And this is why, and this is what I'm thinking, and this is how I believe. And for me, it grounds me first thing in the morning. It grounds
Wow.
me first thing in the morning as I sit there and say, okay, I've gotten my thoughts out to the universe. And it's not as much my post. I'm not so much about worried about my post. I'm more worried about making sure that I connect with probably about a dozen and a half people on a regular basis. And they may not all get the same level of quote every single day, but I'll sit there and I'll read all their posts and I'll sit there and say, all right, where can I add value? How can I add value? How can I elevate this conversation? And I'll write something.
Got
And
it.
for me, that's when I do that, I have the sense of accomplishment that takes me throughout the entire day.
I love
Because
that.
all of a sudden I've set myself up for success and I've engaged my brain long before the first coffee hits my soul. And it's just one of those things. And it drives my wife crazy because she wakes up every morning and she sees me in my lazy boy with my phone, and she goes, "What are you doing? Playing Candy Crush?" I go, "No." And you have to explain to her, this is why I do it. She says, "Well, why don't you do it on your computer?" Going, because if I'm upstairs, I bang really hard on the keyboard and I'll wake you up because I'm a 6 a.m. riser where she doesn't get up till 7. So I need to
Uh,
be downstairs and quiet and productive and be able to be useful in my own mind before that. Now, things that don't work out for me is that I have become a YouTube scroller. And after about 5 minutes of YouTube scrolling, I sit there and say, okay, put it down, Ben.
you,
You're wasting your time. You're not being productive. You're sucking time out of your soul, and you got to get out of this. And it's not like I won't come back to it 2, 3 hours later and do it again, but I try to limit myself.
yeah.
To it's that's my break. That's my release point. That's my thing. But I also feel that it at times it's rotting my brain.
I know. I understand. I get it.
And so there's the good and there's the bad in terms of two things that I do on a very regular basis, and one makes me feel productive and one makes me feel like I'm wasting my time, and I got to stop that and stop it now.
You know, though, I think, and I understand your guilt. It's like a guilt thing, okay? And I'm
It
not
is a
saying you feel
guilt. It's
guilty,
absolutely a guilt thing.
but it's guilt against being a productive person.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna challenge everyone, and this is coming from a phone addict, okay? But that being said, in defense of that doom scrolling moment in your life, as long as
Yes.
it doesn't overtake your life, I think as long as you understand the intention behind the doom scrolling, if it's something where like you just gotta go brain numb, let go. I don't want to think about nothing, like because your brain has to, otherwise or to go take a nap would be the equivalent, right? But
Yeah.
you're not nappy, you're not in the mood for
I'm
a
not a
nap.
nappy guy. Yes.
Yeah. So, oh, you're not. Oh
No, no.
man. I mean, like sometimes you just have to turn your brain off and whatever it is. So I think there are times when the doom scrolling is okay as long as you're doing it with the intention of understanding why you're doing the doom scrolling. Because I can see
Hmm.
where doom scrolling can become escapism, right?
Yes.
But not in the best way. When I said take a break and escape, this is like I'm escaping life permanently. You can just, vacation escape. That's nothing
Yes.
wrong with vacation escape. It's the ones that are like, you know, they're ranked top 1% of Candy Crush, not me. I'm top 2. Don't worry about it, peoples. I'm joking. I don't even know if there's a ranking. But
I'm
that being
sure there
said,
is.
it but I can see where that can become a habit as well. So,
Yes.
like for me, like without being too gross or TMI, like I mean, okay, as a Gen Xer, raise your hand, everyone, because I think this is funny. How many of you were in the, loo and you're like sitting there and you're like, I need something to read. So you just like grab like the shampoo, you grab like
Absolutely.
Kleenex box and you're reading the boxes and stuff like that. So I get the compulsion at times if you're in the, private happy space and you got your cell phone on, right? But it can't be something where you're in there for 45 minutes. A, that's not good for your body. But B, yeah, I could see where, again, why are you doing it? Most likely it's not the healthiest reasons. You're escaping something. And not, like I
Right.
said, not for the moment. It's okay for the moment because you're doing your bit in it. It's the ones that are like already flushed and done and they're still sitting there, you know? I know it's being a little gross, but I thought that was a funny.
You know what? I think it's a good thing to think about because you're right. I mean, it's we all have these idiosyncrasy habits that enable us to do whatever we need to do. But you look at this, say, if you just look at it from, that alien coming down from Venus, looking at you going, why the blank are they doing this? But for you individually, it's a comfort thing. It's a distraction thing. It's a ritual thing. It's whatever it is. But it's sitting there going, I can't do X unless I do Y. It's like when I go for a walk, I listen to podcasts. Like I can't just, very rarely. Sometimes I will just go out for a walk and just go for a walk. But 95% of the time, if I'm going for a walk, I'm listening to podcasts. And it's not, it usually has something to do with either business or communications or change management or, or go to market. It's, it's not fluff stuff.
Yeah,
It's stuff that actually,
what's
it's
wrong with
stuff.
you, man?
I know I'm strange, but but for me, that's the time that I get. That's my time by myself that I get to indulge in the stuff that I really truly enjoy doing. And what I do is it's the stuff that makes me think. It's stuff that makes me think, and that's where other people just want to totally you know disembowel themselves from reality. I sit there and say, okay, now is my time to learn. I have quiet time where I'm not expected to do anything else. Now I can learn the stuff that I really want to learn.
So it's funny. I make fun of you on that, but at the same time, I too am guilty of when I am not doom scrolling, but I would say doom YouTubing. Like I just have
Hmm.
YouTube playing in the background and different videos and whatnot. I've always been a history person, and so I probably know the history of the kings and queens of United Kingdom way more than the average probably UK citizen. But it's just always those like weird things that capture your brain of interest, right? And that's okay because if it entertains you and you also get enlightened at the same time or you get some message. My fellow conspiracy theory people, what's up? Yeah, I think if you develop those habits that maybe help you improve who you are and what you are, so if whatever content you're listening to, for example, in podcasts, helps you be a better person, for in your case, communication and all that good stuff, I mean, I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think in a way, I think what we're talking about is really we're gonna have a habit we're gonna pick up. Why
Right.
not make one that's good for you?
Positive, something that's positive.
Positive, right? Like, look, despite popular opinion, everyone, you can't just be like going to every concert every day without maybe potentially going deaf in the process, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But that being said, though, too, though, if music is where your heart and soul is, then freaking ride that happy wave of listening to music, right? Like,
Absolutely.
you can't besmirch people that this is them, that's, and you know what? Maybe that would make the world a better place if everyone found their happy place and then in that point in time, then we interact with each other because then we're all naturally high and happy. Naturally high being key word here, people. Not
That's
the other
right.
happy, happy, which
Not
is
not
also a
that
natural
not that
substance.
Colorado high.
Well, it is a natural substance. That's all I'm going to
That's
articulate and
true.
be, if we're going to be like persnickety on things. But that being said, internally regulated a happy high. How about that?
I totally appreciate it. And I think, as we land this plane, if we take a look at things and say, okay, are the habits that we have detrimental to us, or do they help us enable us to find our better angels?
Yes.
If we have habits that enable us to find our better angels and become better versions of ourselves, all right, it may be weird, it may be persnickety, whatever, but if it enables you to be a better version of yourself, what's wrong with that? And
Exactly.
but if we have habits and they are destructive either to ourselves or destructive to other people, maybe we need to take a look at those and sit there and says, is that the best use of our time and the best use of our abilities?
Ah, I love that.
So shall we cap it there?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to land this plane because you're getting me excited about some other. Man, I love
I,
our conversations because
I love our
it
conversations.
it feeds one topic and then we're like, "Whoa, here's another topic we can talk about." Right?
Perfect.
So,
So let's leave it there. I'm Ben,
I'm Sia.
and we'll see you soon.
Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not on This Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at yourbrandmarketing.com or me at brilliantbeammedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. So see you next week for another episode of Not on This Business Bites.